Okay, so the key to understanding how the envelope is working is this line object. So a line object outputs a value and then can output a different value, but it doesn't go there immediately. It slowly ramps from one to the other. Now, in order to demonstrate this, I put together this new PD project. You can see I've got this VU meter on here. I'm not going to go into the exact details of how the VU meter works and what this envelope follower is and so on there. If you're interested, if you actually right-click on one of these objects, the envelope follower, and click on Help, it opens up the appropriate page from the PD manual, and look, you can see that's exactly the same as I've got there. I've got some slightly different values for the envelope follower sample window, but essentially it's exactly the same. You can just copy and paste this if you want to use this in your own project. Let's close that down, go back to this. So currently, my line object here is outputting a value of 0. That's going through a multiplier to affect the oscillator signal level, but don't worry about that. Now, if I was to click on this bang here, it'll go to the new value of 1, but it doesn't go there immediately. It will take 1,000 milliseconds. So you can see we've got these compound objects. They're just saying, first of all, what's the new value you want to go to? Second one, how long it's going to take to go there. So if I click on bang, it'll go to that. Not immediately there. You saw it took 1,000 milliseconds, a second, to take its time to get there. Unsurprisingly then, if I click on this bang, this will go back down to the 0, and again will take 1,000 milliseconds to do this. If I put it back up to the 1 again, if I just send a single digit, like a 0 here, it'll jump straight to the new value. So I click on bang, bang, straight to 0 again. So we're going to use this type of logic to make our note ramp up to the value that we want. So the way our synth is triggered is more akin to what I've got here. So I've got a trigger object. Now a trigger object will actually output in series from the right output to the left output. So the first thing that happens if I click on this bang is it'll send this bang message out here, go to this 0, it'll make the signal level jump straight down to 0 again. So it resets the note. At the moment, that won't really be doing anything because it's already at 0, but we'll see what it does when we click on the bang for a second time. It will then ramp up to 1 and take 1,000 milliseconds to get there. So if I now click on bang, it takes 1,000 milliseconds to get up to the 1 value. Click on it again, it'll jump back down to the 0 and ramp back up. Now it doesn't look like it goes all the way down to 0 on the meter. That's the reaction time of the meter, not the way that the signal's actually behaving. So let's take a look now at how we've used the same kind of logic within our synth for the attack. So going over here to the note PD object, here we have the unpack. Remember from earlier that the MIDI note velocity, which we're using to control how loud the note was, comes out of this second output of the unpack. And that's the signal we've got going down here to the ADSR. So MIDI note velocity is the signal that's sent over to, here we are, the ADSR, abstract. So it comes in the inlet and gets to the select. Now the way a select works, it has an argument there of 0. And what that means is if the input is equal to a 0, then it'll output a bang from the first output. That's not what I'm using it for here. If it's any other value than 0, it just passes that value through to the second output. So this basically means that MIDI note velocities of 0 will not cause a note to trigger, which makes sense if you think about it, because we've used a MIDI note velocity of 0 to be a note off, and unsurprisingly we'll see later on that that comes back to trigger our release part of the envelope. So here's the trigger. This trigger will output in series a bang, and a bang. Okay, the third bang we haven't actually connected yet. Again, you're probably going to predict where that's going to go later. The first one out there goes to the 0 here, and that resets our note back down to 0. And then we have a pack, and the pack is how we've created our compound object. So it's triggered with a bang, but it'll output first of all a 1, so it'll say go up to the 1 value. But the second value is controlled by the second input or inlet to this pack. And this is being fed from RA. And if you can see up here, remember, we set our, this is the receive for send A that you can see is the attack parameter on the synth. Again, it might take you a few watches through to understand what's going on there, but hopefully, if I play this, great, that's making a sound. If I now go to here and change this attack time, you can hear that it's gradually ramping up. Okay, so watch the video through a few times, take a few notes, see if you can put together exactly what's happening, and I'll see you in the next video.